Hi there, it's Kim from Mosaic Tiles Australia. Today I'm going to show you how we can create some beautiful feathers, scales, what else we've got? Fur, out of stained glass. So yeah, let's get going. This is actually a good idea for fish or doing mermaids' tails, etc. So we'll just start off with our first row here. So I'm just going to take these two corners off. So it'll be this one here and there. You take the two corners off and then you just want to slowly soften these points. This is the only time I turn my cutters on a slight angle. Usually I keep them straight when I'm cutting. But on an angle like that, you can just use them for as like a nipper. But you can, if you've got nippers, use those. But I just intend to have one tool, and I'm just using it to shape the little points. So you just hear that grinding noise. So that's just slowly taking away the little sharp points on the end. So that's our first scale. So we'll start our little row here. Same thing with this one. Take the points off. Soften the points that are left. And so you should end up with. Nice and simple. I'm going to cut a slight angle on this one. I want it to fit in there nicely, so you can sort of see the cut I've got to do. Alright, let's get another one done. That nice flow around that you get now. Right, we should be able to get one more in. Let's have a look. Same thing, 2 points, cutters on an angle and just soften those points. See, it's just nice and grinding on there. You can always grind if you've got a grinder, but look, if you're starting out, a lot of people don't have the luxury of a grinder, so this is just a real good technique to practice. So I'm just slowly biting it. So hopefully you can see this. I'm going to pick up that one there, slide that under there. Right, so that's our first row we've got there for the little fishy. We'll do some smaller scales now, so I'm going to kind of have them feathering out sort of like this way, coming down this way roughly, and getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, and keep an eye on you. Right, same thing again. Take the corners off. It always helps to have like a plastic container to cut into, which I am not at the moment, otherwise you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but this will just contain all your shards, so always keep it in front of you when you are cutting. So we'll get a couple of these done, just what we've done before. Same thing, taking the points off. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a scoop. So same thing, cut as at an angle. I have also done another shape here that you can also incorporate into them as well. Just sort of play around with these little shapes as well. So that's the same principle as cutting off your two corners, shaping it, and then I get the center and I draw a little line. So take the corner off, just shape the points. Just do a scoop cut. And that also gives you a nice scale to play around with. It's always quite good, just pop into little smaller corners. So that's just a simple idea how to get started with your scales. Okay, let's move on to our little froggy. So this is just a little base we've got to practice. So I'm going to cut out some little circles. I'm using stained glass again. I've got some nice greens, a little bit of iridescent green. So I want to roughly get some square shapes. These ones are going to cut into 4. So it's just about blending the green shades for his body. So same with these, I just want to cut the 4 corners off, just nibble them off slightly. And I don't really want them too perfect, I want them to be a little bit rough looking like that there. So it's just sort of taking a little bit off, not worrying that they're not perfect shaping. It just gives them a nice roughness look of them. And give one a straight edge because I'm going to place it on the edge. So the idea is I usually work from side to side, so I'll outline the sides first and then I'll work inwards. So all different size circles are quite effective as well. So I'll just show you, see it's not a perfect circle. So it looks quite nice with it all being raggedy looking. But yeah, I just do a whole lot of different sizes, different shades of green, different textures, and then just blend them back together. So just sort of work in. He needs some eyes. Don't know if they're quite the most appropriate eyes. You can draw little toenails on him if you want to. You can shape little circles to go there out of your glass. Or there are gems. All depends how you want them to look. Blue toes. So this is kind of an out there looking frog. But yeah, it's about being creative. Different colours. You could even like put a little bit of mirror in here. I think would look really effective as well. So just keep cutting your little circles in different sizes. And he'll look amazing. With this one here, I'm going to do a feather look. So to get the feather look, you can still use your squares, whatever. I do have some sticks here, some beautiful colours. Generally kookaburras, yeah, sort of browns and a little bit of cream. So we'll just work with, I think we'll do the sticks at the moment. You can still do these with tiles, with the squares. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off. So what I want to do is I want to get some finer feathers. So I'm holding my glass on an angle. What I want to do is I'm going to cut little tiny bits coming in this way. And this does help to have a container, because I find once you cut these little things, they fly off everywhere. So, but I'll just show you now, and I'll go and hunt them out later. So I'll just show you up closely. So I'm just taking a real tiny little bit off. It's not much at all. So that's sort of the cuts I'm getting. So just nice little shards. So that's what I want. Just really fine. Trying to show you and trying not to make a mess. So it's just ever so slightly, just. And if I want longer feathers, I'm obviously going to do longer bits. So this is what you want. And this is also how we do our fur. That's basically sort of it. So there's little bites I've got here. Put a little bit of light brown in there. So just ever so slightly, just nipping off as you go. You can't really do this with tiles with ridges on the back, because it just doesn't come out as nice. So see all these little crazy bits we've got here. So we just want to work through our little pile of points you get. They're really quite a good shape. That's what you want. So same thing again. Put them in nicely with your tweezers. And then you just keep feeding in these little bits. So it does pay to put the glue down. I usually put a little bit of glue down first. And then with my tweezers, I just pop them into position. So with my tweezers, let's have a look. There's a little tiny one there. And of course, once we get out to the outside, we'll be going a little bit longer. So much easier when you've got your glue down there, because I'm not going to move around. But you see the nice little spiky feathers that we've created? And obviously the thicker ones we can do as we get further out perhaps. And some you can just trim off. So that there is roughly how you do your little feathers. So look at these are gorgeous, these little bits. And as I said, have the glue down really does help. And tweezers, definitely tweezers are great. I've got some more little bits up here, so I carry on putting the little ones around the eye. Now for these ones here, slightly a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do, we'll do some brown ones. See how I've got the grain going this way. This is beautiful, this one. So what I'm going to do is make some little feathers out of these. So just cut some little squares. I'm going to cut that in half. So we're going to start off with having finer feathers, and we slowly work down to wider ones as we get down here. Same thing again, I'm just going to round these corners off. So take the two off the bottom, like that, and then just soften it. So like we did before with these scales, you just want to grate along there, and you get sort of a rounder edge on them. And I'm going to hold my cutters on an angle because I want to have a little bit of a scoop out of there. Perfect. So we want to do some longer ones. Same thing again, 2 points off. Then just go back and just gently soften those points. Scoop it out. So it's not exactly to how, obviously I'd put these longer ones down here a wee bit, but that just gives you an idea. Starting off small and you slowly get bigger. Some of them are a little bit wider, so do smaller, wider, points off the bottom, and then just softening it. So these would be like your wider feathers through here. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. So that'll be sort of the start of the kookaburra. Obviously the longer ones, well, I'd be doing it with a glass cutter, so not everyone cuts glass, etc. But if you have got a glass cutter, same thing again for these long ones. Just straight down, and just need some snappers. Same thing, I'm just gonna 2 points, soften, scoop, so I hope that gives you a few little ideas of what you can do. As I said, play around is the best way you can do this. But this is definitely fantastic. So this also, as I said, works for your fur if you're doing a dog, like we saw in the picture previous, the little brown dog. It's just the same thing. So as I said, same thing again, just lots of little slivers. Obviously, if you've got a bigger project, you want bigger, wider feathers, you just take your cutter in a bit more. And all these little bits you use up, they don't go to waste. Now, let's have a look. We'll do a couple of nice leaves. So same thing again, I've got the long stick of glass, I want to do some longer leaves. So I'll do some rectangles. Take the 2 corners off. So we're roughly getting a leaf shape, and soften the points. You just hear that biting, that's what you want. Yeah, and that could be a leaf there. Right, I'll make this one here a little bit skinnier, so I'm going to come in a bit further. Just on an angle. Soften the point off. That point there. That point. And that could be a little leaf. So the other thing we can have with kookaburra is maybe some little gum nuts, which usually sort of hang down. So let's do a little gum nut. So we're going to have a little tiny stalk for it to sit on. So we have him coming out of there. We're going to give him a little hat. So I think that's what they're called. So same thing again, I'm getting my rectangle. I'm softening the points on the top. It's like a bit like my scale. So it does come in handy, that sort of shape, to learn to cut. Scoop out here. And this is going to be one of our little gum nuts. And we're going to fill them with some beautiful little pink shards. So the same way we did the fur, we're going to do the pink. Oh, you know, I'm going to have to go and find these. So remember, at home you've got your little container to cut into. So it's nice and tiny, little crazy shapes is what I want. Right, let's have a look. So that there, I'm obviously going to cut off. But just see that gorgeous little points there. So same thing again, we'll start building our little gum nut. these out of the way for a minute. Right. These shapes, these are awesome, these are great. I'll just do some more. So try and keep them a bit finer. These ones are a little bit too big. This one here might be okay. So the idea is just to fill them up really close as much as you can. So that there will be like a little gum nut. On our crooked branch. Let me get them back to normal. So that's just a rough idea what you can do. Yeah, he's gorgeous. So same thing again, as I said, if you just keep practicing that shape, we will do a little flower. I can show you with a longer stick again. So the slightly longer shapes. So this will just give you a bit more of a longer flower. So same thing again. If you hold them like that, think of it as yeah, same as your leaf shape, but they're going to be flower petals. So I'm taking those points off. One that way, one that way. Then I'm softening. There's 4 points that need to be softened. So that's one. So when I say soften, it just helps to round them off. That's the other one. Taking the little end off each one, just so I can get a little center in there. So these are just real basic beginner's flowers, which I don't quite know how they're going to fit in with our kookaburra. But anyway, while we're here, let's just pop one in and we can make a circle. So not very exciting, but I'll just use my green circle for my frog. And there's a little flower. Right, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, just put a comment in the section down below, and yeah. But all I can suggest is just practice, get yourself a little box of stained glass, and just practice that shape. Just doing the curving. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's much nicer than trying to shape tiles with a ridge on the back. I just find they just don't always give you a nice cut. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks guys.